Bruno Fernandes for not being a Roy Keane-style captain. Hey race, why today's soft society is the problem. The characteristics of being robust, resilient, forthright and focused on a single outcome aren't promoted and have been replaced by a culture of not overcoming adversity, trying not to upset people and handing out participation medals. People who are confident and back themselves are often not liked. It makes leadership very difficult and challenging. Often if you believe in yourself, you are called arrogant. If you are assertive, you are labeled aggressive. They are all terms used to diminish people by those made uncomfortable or envious of strong-minded, stand-out people. The effect on our politics and businesses is obvious, but it's also trickled down to our national game where proper captains are a dying breed. Roy Keane was always held up as a prime example at Manchester United. Some argued he was too abrasive and combative, but if you weighed up the benefits of Keane's leadership against the mistakes, it would be massively be in his favor. Our soft modern society has made leadership very difficult and challenging for captains. Roy Keane is widely regarded as one of the best captains in Premier League history, but the former Manchester United midfielder was a fiery, no-nonsense leader in the dressing room. I think we have lost the ability to overcome challenges or say what we really mean, or even at times stick up for what we believe and our true character. Instead, it feels as if we live by the famous Groucho Marx outlook of "these are my principles and if you don't like them, well, I have others." We've got softer. The ambition seems to be about becoming kinder rather than bolder. It's why we have a lack of resilience flowing into our sporting environment and why the very rare breed of a proper leader stands out a mile. Some people see it as improvement, the way we're meant to evolve, but be careful what you wish for. The material value of leadership is desperately needed in all walks of life and we don't want to lose it. Leadership in its essence is the ability to inspire, motivate, support, guide and ultimately bring people together towards a common purpose. We can see the changes in football. It's harder than ever to be a leader on the pitch in the Premier League. It requires real conviction and not many have it. Bruno Fernandes should not be blamed for being the type of captain he is. Our society should. Ruben Amorim admitted Manchester United are starved of leaders shortly after his arrival. These days, Bruno Fernandes wears the Manchester United armband instead of a Keane or Steve Bruce or Brian Robson. I say that acknowledging Fernandes is a hugely talented player currently enjoying a moment in the sun after two decent results at Liverpool and Arsenal. Given that boats rise in a high tide, his levels as the current in situ leader could be dragged up further if countryman Ruben Amorim creates the right culture at Old Trafford. Equally, Fernandes could revert to type at the first sign of fragility. We remember his performance when shipping 7 goals at Liverpool. He was the poster boy of what a Manchester United player shouldn't be. It was mooted, when Bruno was given the armband, that he wasn't the kind of captain you wanted, but who else at Old Trafford could have done it, or could do it now? That in and of itself might explain the scale of the malaise and task ahead of Mr. Amorim. Harry Maguire was being booed by his own fans when he lost the job. Do you want to give extra responsibility to 19-year-old Kobbie Mainoo, still learning his trade despite people elevating him to being a great midfield player? The inevitable comparison is always Keane, but the reality, even if I don't like it, is that the culture of the game and the country has changed. The type of leaders we used to see are few and far between. You don't see the statuesque, rousing figures of old. Virgil van Dijk is probably the identikit captain for 2025 and most likely a throwback to the era of the aforementioned Keane. No surprise then Liverpool are sitting top of the league. Nobody said Fernandes excelled under Erik ten Hag. It wasn't an act of genius to put him in charge, more needs must. For all the praise he's got this week for saluting reserve goalkeeper Altay Bayındır, nobody was saying it a month ago when United were bashed up at Wolves and Fernandes was sent off. Ex-United captain Harry Maguire, who was once booed by his own fans after losing the armband, has fought his way back into the first team under Amorim because of his leadership. Few true leaders remain in the Premier League today. Pictured Liverpool skipper Virgil van Dijk. It is far too early in Amorim's United reign to suddenly say that Fernandes is a brilliant captain. Amorim's system should suit Bruno. The manager is a charismatic operator demanding the basic principle of applying yourself, but it's way too early to hail this as a United revolution. The draw at Liverpool followed by knocking profligate Arsenal out of the FA Cup might prove to be the starting gun for something better at United. But unless they put a very poor Southampton side to the sword on Thursday night, what have they achieved? I am neither surprised nor enthused how Fernandes has done. It's too early to suddenly say he's a brilliant captain. If Manchester United want to win the league, is he the man to lead them on the pitch? You could scoff and say of course not, but you can't judge by standards of the past. If Amorim creates the conditions, as I have a sneaking suspicion he might, he could enable Fernandes to be a modern-day captain without the shaking fists and demonstrative outlook of his predecessors at Manchester United. After Ruben Amorim's first training session at Manchester United, Marcus Rashford posted his joy. In the usual self-indulgent way of footballers, it was likely cocking a snook at Erik ten Hag, but you could bet your bottom dollar his love-in with the new manager wouldn't last. It's unraveled even quicker than I thought, and given Rashford has 3 years left on a lucrative contract, someone is going to have to take a financial haircut. What I would advise him? I'm not sure I would try. I'd have advised him to keep his mouth shut instead of saying he wanted a new challenge, to have a better attitude and to apply himself. Seemingly, none of these things has been done. In a world of radiators and drains, it's not difficult to work out which Rashford is. Without a sea change in outlook, his career will bleed into relative mediocrity. It's all unraveled very quickly for Marcus Rashford since Amorim's arrival at Old Trafford.